please. Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Chung. I am your international counselor. My role as your counselor is to help you with your academic needs. So things like helping you to choose your classes for the fall, for the semesters that you're starting, and helping you with educational planning. And we talk about transfer goals, your majors, your careers, things that you need to help you get through this educational journey. And we want to welcome you. And I'm joined by my two colleagues. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sujin Kim. I'm also an international counselor at PCC. So same thing with Amy. Any academic questions you may have, you can book an appointment to meet with me. We have two other international counselors that's in our team, and we speak multiple languages. So like I speak Korean, we have a Japanese speaking counselor, Amy speaks Chinese and Cambodian? No.
I speak
Vietnamese.
Cantonese, Mandarin, and Vietnamese.
Vietnamese, sorry. And then Rosa Chen speaks Chinese, I think Mandarin. Yeah.
So we've got you covered, most of you.
Yeah. Sorry if we don't speak your language, but welcome everybody. And I'll have Rosa introduce herself.
Hello, welcome. My name is Rosa Villegas. I'm one of the three international advisors. The other two are Michael Jones and Kathy Shen. So we help you with any questions related to visa questions, I-20, anything related to visa. So sometimes you may schedule an appointment with us, but in reality, you need to speak to an academic counselor. Don't worry, we will get you to the right person that's gonna help you. We are all a team and we all work together. So we, again, welcome you and thank you for being here with us for the next couple hours so we can prepare you for your journey to register for the first semester.
And we'll be covering a lot of important information to help you get started. Feel free to take a screenshot if you like, but we will send this information to you. So you'll have this. The recording will be available to you after this. So if you want to have a screenshot, that's perfectly fine. It's going to be a lot of information. So please take notes or pay attention closely so that you don't miss anything. So we're going to get started.
All righty, let's get started. So welcome everybody. I believe y'all are new students for spring 2022. So today we will talk about your ESL and math sequence. We'll also talk about your general education, or we call them in short GE classes. And then, of course, a lot of you're here to transfer to four-year schools or graduate with an associate degree. So we'll go over that. We'll go over the list of spring classes that we recommend for you. Also, we'll learn how to register for your classes. Okay, so important requirement for international students. 12 units in fall and spring semesters are required if you are in the US, okay? And at least one on-campus or hybrid class is required if this is your first semester under a new I-20 and if you're in the US, right? So that's very, very important. Make sure when you register for your classes, make sure you're getting at least one class with at least one unit that's on campus or hybrid. Okay, and then if you are overseas students taking classes online, we recommend you to take maybe 6 to 9 units. That's 2 to 3 classes because 12 units can be, too many classes, too much course load, especially if you're going through the time difference for the first time. But that's just a recommendation. You could always take more if you wish. We also ask you to take your ESL or English class, depending on your placement in your first semester. Very important for you to develop your English skills before you tackle those difficult major classes in the future. If you are interested in joining Pathways, first year experience, some of you have received emails about this program. We'll go over what this program is in a little bit. But if you're interested in joining this optional Pathways program, make sure you join either Counseling 10 or College 1 in your first year at PCC, depending on your ESL English level. And we'll go over this again in a little bit more detail afterwards. If for any reason, if you need to drop below 12 units, or if you were dropped because of teacher drop, anything like that, come see a counselor, okay? It's not okay for you to go under 12 units if you're under F1 status, if you have a valid I-20, okay? So that's very, very important. Okay, a little bit about how our academic calendar works. So all of you are starting in the spring, right, in January. But we not only have spring semester, we also have fall semester. In the US, the schools typically start in the fall semester. So fall semester goes from August to December, 16 weeks. We suggest students to take about 12 to 16 units. Spring semester comes next, January to May, also 16 weeks. And we also recommend 12 to 16 units. Again, this is about 4 to like 5 classes, something like that. After spring, we have 2 consecutive back-to-back summer sessions. Our first summer session is from May to June for 6 weeks. Summer is optional for international students. If you don't want to take any classes, you want to travel, go to, New York or go to Vegas or go back to your home country, that's okay. But if you want to transfer or graduate faster, of course, we recommend you to take maybe up to 8 units in summer. And you can also do the second summer session if you want, also 6 weeks long, and you could do another, 1, 2, or even 3 classes if you wish. So this is the full academic calendar cycle. Typically students transfer in 2 years or sometimes 3 years, that's okay if you have high unit major, and you need 60 units to transfer and or graduate. So if you take bare minimum, so 12 units in the fall, 12 units in the spring, and no summer session, that's only 24 units in a year. You will not be able to transfer on time. So think carefully how many units you want to take, do the math. Think about how many semesters, terms you want to take in order to graduate or transfer with 60 units. And we'll go over that more in detail. Okay. Reminder, reminder, reminder. If you have not completed your math and English placement, or if you have not completed your online orientation, you must do so not now, but after the presentation. It's very important because unless you complete your online orientation and the placement that's embedded within the orientation, you won't know what classes you need to take in your first term. Not only that, your registration time will be very, very later than other students. So this is something that you must complete as soon as possible by going to orientation.pasadena.edu. This should be at the top of your to-do list. Okay, these are not tests, these are not exams. You will answer math, English survey questions. We will ask you if you know how to solve certain problems, if you know how to write certain things. You just answer them as you go. Based on your answer, we'll give you your placement. If you're not satisfied with your placement, you can come back to orientation. You can retake the placement for a higher level if you wish. Okay.
I just want to spend some time reminding everyone, because I was spot checking your registration date. And many of you actually have a very late registration date, and sometime in December. And the reason you have a late registration date is because you have not done the online orientation and take the assessment. So once you've done that, the next day, let's say you do it today, and then you go back and you check your registration date again, you're going to see that it gets changed to November 19th. So all of you at least should have the November 19th registration date if you have done your online orientation and your assessment. So please help yourself to move your registration date up by doing the online orientation. Now, remember, when you do it, you have to check the next day. It doesn't change immediately. It changes the next day. So your registration date should be November 19 at least.
Yeah, our classes tend to fill up very quickly. So make sure you move up your registration date so you get your spot for your classes.
Yeah, so international students have priority registration, and that is very, very valuable because you get to register before most other students. So take advantage of that by doing your part, which is the online orientation and assessment that will change your registration date.
Alrighty. So this is your English and ESL course sequence chart. I wanted to go over this with you because, you know, some of you are visual learners like myself, and it helps to see some charts. So remember, when you answer the ESL or English placement, you know, questions, surveys, you're going to see your level for ESL or English. So you could be level 1, ESL 420, level 2, ESL 422, level 3, 122, level 4, 33A, 33B, or you could be placed into English 1A directly. English 1A is what typically, you know, what our domestic students, you know, go into after high school in the US. If you feel like you need more English support, if you're not yet ready to tackle the English class, you could always take the ESL classes here at the bottom. As you can see the arrow, if you are starting, for example, from level 1, after you pass this class, you move up to level 2, and then level 3, level 4, so on and so forth, until you reach English 1A. This is the class that you need to graduate from PCC. If you're transferring to a four-year school, the schools often require you to take an additional English class called critical thinking. So you could only take critical thinking after you complete English 1A. So it's very essential for you to move up the levels so you can reach English 1A class as soon as possible. If you look at the bottom here, these are the recommended support courses for ESL. If you feel like, you know, depending on your level, let's say you're level 3, if you feel like you need more help with reading, you take ESL 132, or you could, it's optional. If you need help in pronunciation, you could take ESL 246. If you're like me, you need help in grammar, I'm terrible at grammar, then you can take 1-unit grammar class, such as ESL 410A or B. So these are some optional support classes available for you. Highly recommended if this is you know, like yourselves, first semester attending a US school. If you're at a lower ESL level, very much recommended. Again, these are optional. Another thing that I wanted to mention is the T here that you see in the upper right-hand corner of these boxes. T stands for transfer. So the boxes with the T means the course is transferable to universities. People might think getting a C or D or an F in ESL doesn't really matter because these are not transfer courses. Wrong. These courses will transfer and your grades will matter when you transfer to a four-year school. Okay, but these courses here at the bottom, levels 1, 2, and 3, are not transferable. All right, so that was your English. So this is your math course options. Our math courses, it could be pretty complicating to see, I know, but it's divided into 2 big chunks. At the top are your SLAM math courses. SLAM stands for Statistics, Liberal Arts. So if your major is, you know, psychology, sociology, political science, nursing, like health science, then we recommend you to take Statistics 50. Or, you know, if you're a liberal art major, like your art, fashion design, music, English major, you could also take Stat 50 if you want. So that's a good class for you right there. When you meet with a counselor, you could also explore other options too, but we highly recommend that. Also, if you're a business or economics major, and if you want to transfer to Cal State schools or some private schools, then you could actually take Stat 50 as well. Next is STEM. So this is a completely different path. So STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. So if your major is computer science, engineering, any type of engineering, math, or, you know, science like physics or biology, chemistry, something like that, then you could you're in the STEM path. Depending on how you answer your math placement again, right? You might be placed under Math 3 or Math 8. The highest placement that you could get is Math 5A. Okay, so depending on your placement, you can start your math in any of these levels, and then you work your way up until you complete the transfer requirement that's required by the school that you want to transfer to. For example, if you want to transfer to UCs under business or economics, they require you to take Math 5A and Math 5B. Okay, so these are your required major requirement courses for UC if you're a business major. And then we'll go over how to look that up online in a little bit.
Oh, Sujin, can I just add? Some of you may not know what your major is when you're starting out. So you may not know whether you should take statistics or Math 3. It is okay not to take a math course in your first semester, especially if you don't know what your major is. And to prevent you from taking the wrong math and have to take the right math again, you don't have to take math in your first semester. Some of you just need to take one math course and that's all. Some of you may have to take 5 or 6 math courses every semester, basically, depending on your major. So your major will dictate how many math courses you need to take. And the university that you're planning to transfer to will also dictate how many math courses you'll be taking.
Yeah, and when you meet with a counselor, we'll go over more in detail in terms of exactly what math classes you need if you know your major and what school you want to transfer to. Okay, course numbering system. I'll try to talk a little bit faster. Let me know if it gets too fast. Okay, so our courses, it's really convenient for you to tell whether our courses are transferable or not. If the course is numbered 1 through 99, then the course is transferable, meaning you could use the unit to count toward the four-year universities when you transfer. However, if the course numbering is 100 and above, then these courses are not transferable. We offer a lot of these courses, non-transferable courses at PCC. So if your goal is to transfer, make sure you're taking classes that are numbered from 1 through 99. For example, ESL 33A, we looked at it earlier, transfers to UC and CSU universities. However, ESL 122 does not transfer, right? Because the number is above 100. So that's the easiest way that you could tell whether a course is transferable or not. There's also this other concept called prerequisites and co-requisites. Prerequisite means that there is a requirement that must be met before enrolling in a class. For example, you want to take chemistry 1B. You try to register, it doesn't work. It's probably because you have not completed the prerequisite, which is the Chem 1A class. So only after you complete the prerequisite, then you can take the next level, Chem 1B. Okay, not all classes are like this. For example, our history class, History 7A, is not a prerequisite to History 7B. A lot of students confuse that. So make sure when you read the course descriptions to read the prerequisite section very carefully. Don't ever assume because of the numbering or the letters. Co-requisite, meaning the courses that must be taken during the same term with another class. Okay, so they're co-requisite, meaning they need to be taken together. For example, Architecture 10A and 12A, these courses, you must register for both of these courses at the same time. If you try to get one or without the other, the system will not allow you to take these classes. Okay, so prerequisite versus co-requisite, please remember. Alrighty. What can you accomplish at PCC? Many of you want to transfer to UC, CSU, or private university. Some of our students transfer to out of state or even like international schools. That's also allowed, but majority of our students want UC, CSU, or private. There are 10 UC schools in the state of California, like UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC Irvine, UC San Diego. Out of those 10, you can transfer to 9 schools. UC San Francisco is the one school that you won't be able to transfer to because they don't have undergraduate. There's 23 CSU schools available. CSU stands for Cal State Universities. So there's Cal State Long Beach, like Cal State LA, Cal State Northridge, Cal Poly Pomona. These are Cal State schools. Cal State schools are a little more practical in their learning. UCs are very much theory and research driven. So they're a little bit different in their nature. CSU schools are a little more affordable for international students. And then, of course, we have 100 and plus private universities like USC, University of Southern California Arts Center. It's very close to PCC. So you can transfer to many of these, or you can apply to many of these schools, and then you transfer to one school at the end of the day. You could also earn associate degrees with us. We have the general associate degree like the AA and the AS degree. So associate in arts, associate in science, such as business, natural sciences, social behavioral science, humanities, etc. We also have the career and technical education AS degree, meaning it's a very career-driven degree. For example, you earn a certificate of achievement in nursing, and then you complete the general education to get the full associate degree in nursing. We have degrees like, automotive, technology. We have product design, so we have very career-driven associate degrees as well. You are not to do one or the other. You could actually do both if you want. You can transfer and earn associate degrees at the same time. A lot of our students end up getting the associate degree before they transfer. For example, you could actually obtain associate degree in social behavioral science and transfer as a psych major. So that's possible. Although associate degrees are often not a requirement to transfer, you could earn a degree if you wanted to. We have a specially designed associate degree called Associate Degree in Transfer. T stands for transfer. And we have the Associate Art in Transfer, Associate Science for Transfer. These degrees are 2-year associate degrees, but they're specially designed for those who want to transfer to CSU schools. So if you're interested in those, you can meet with a counselor and we'll go over the classes with you. Alrighty, so like I talked about, you need minimum of 60 units to transfer to UC, Cal State schools, and also to graduate from PCC. But just be mindful, some private schools may only ask for like about 30 units, sometimes less than that. So if you're only applying to private schools, you don't really have to complete the 60 units, to be honest with you. But if you are UC, CSU bound, or associate degree is something that you want, then you need 60 units. How do you make up the 60 units? If you look at the pie chart, you have your general education classes. These are classes that are probably non-related to your major, like English, math, history, political science, things like that. And then you have your major requirements. If you're a business major, these are your accounting classes, economics classes, right? And then if your major classes and the GE does not add up to 60, let's say you only have like 55 units after completing all the classes, then you take elective units to make up the full 60 units. Elective are fun classes. You can take yoga, piano, painting, as long as they are transferable to the school that you want to go to. So that's how you make up the 60 units. Today, I want to go over one of the general education patterns. We have many, many patterns that you can choose from. We're going to go over the IGETC. IGETC is good for UC transfer, CSU transfer, associate degree. Some private schools accept IGETC as well. And so if you're undecided, you really don't know where you want to go, what you want to do, IGETC is the great place for you to start. So we'll go over the IGETC together. We'll also go over the ASSIST website. ASSIST website shows you exactly what classes you need to take to transfer to UC or CSU schools. So that's what we will look at together. Okay, let me switch over to my browser here and then go to assist. So we'll go over the assist first. It's not assist.com, it's assist.org. Here you will select the school that you're attending, Pasadena City College, and the school that you want to transfer to. UCLA, our most popular campus. And then you type in the major that you want to pursue, for example, business economics as an example. You click view agreement, and then you're going to get this pop-up of a PDF file. Note that on the left are the UCLA classes, on the right are PCC classes. Very important to read the important major information, a lot of important information written on there. If you have any exams like AP or IB, they give you some information there as well. But if you scroll down and look at this page, you could see the UCLA classes that UCLA students are taking in their first and second year, and the classes that you could take at PCC that will count as those classes, those UCLA classes. So at PCC, you do Econ 1A, Econ 1B, Accounting 1A, Accounting 1B, Math 5A, Math 5B. And then remember, I told you you need one additional English after you take English 1A. So that's what UCLA wants. Scroll down until you reach the end of agreement. These are the classes that you need for your particular major, business economics at UCLA. Okay, so very important for you to take these classes not all at once, but you have 2 years, 2.5 years, sometimes 3 years to complete these classes and then transfer. So these are your major courses. Now let's talk about your general education.
So Jenny, if I could add, so
Yeah.
this website assist.org is very, very helpful, right? For you to find out what classes you have to take for your major. But this is only going to work if you're going to public universities like the UCs and the Cal States. So if you're going to a private university like USC or the Art Center, you would not find those information from private universities on this website. This only works for public universities in California, so UCs and Cal States. That does not mean you cannot transfer to private universities. We just have to find this kind of information on the private university website, not on this website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you meet with a counselor, we'll, try to search it up for you. If we do have an agreement with that school directly, then it might be a little bit easier for you to transfer to those private schools. But yeah, no private schools on this website. Thanks, Amy. Okay, for the iGetsy, I just Google is my best friend, right? Google's my best friend. iGetsy PCC, and there's that link that pops up right at the top, iGetsy Pasadena City College. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. iGetsy stands for Intersegmental General Education Transfer Curriculum, but it's so long, we never say it. We just call it the iGetsy. And then you're gonna read some important information about iGetsy here. iGetsy is not a transfer requirement, only for some schools, but usually not. But we highly recommend it for you to complete the iGetsy before you transfer. Because if you complete the iGetsy and transfer, you don't have to take any more lower division GE after you transfer to your 4-year school. So you don't have to take any more history or, science, right? If you're business major, you just take your major classes and then you graduate upper division classes. So we highly recommend it. So area 1 is your English communication area. So remember we talked about English 1A. So after your ESL classes, you take your English 1A. After English 1A, you take one of the critical thinking classes here that are listed here at the bottom. And then for oral communication, this area is only for Cal State universities. If you're interested in UC transfer only, no need to complete this area. You can skip it. But if you want CSU schools, of course, you need to take one class from here. Area 2 is math. So make sure you take at least one math before you transfer. If your major requires math, like our example, if your major requires math already, then you can double count this math class for your major and for your iGetsy. So you don't have to take additional math, okay? Arts and humanities. You need 3 classes from this area one class from the arts, one class from the humanities. Your third class can come from either arts or humanities. So total of 3 classes. It says arts here, but these are not painting classes or playing the instrument or singing classes. Unfortunately, these are history of art, appreciation of music, probably like history of photography, something like that. So these are, not the easiest classes, but we recommend the cinema classes because these tend to be a little bit easier than art history or, other classes on this list. So if you are interested in taking something from this area in your first semester, you could take cinema. All right, and these are humanities classes. Moving on, area 4, you also need 3 classes from this area, but remember to fulfill 3 classes from at least 2 subjects. Okay, meaning if you take history 1A, 1B, 2A, those 3 classes will not satisfy this area because you're only taking classes from one subject area. Okay, so make sure you mix the subjects. You're tackling different areas when you take your 3 classes, at least 2. Okay, at least 2 subjects. Alrighty, area 5 is your physical and biological sciences. So you need at least 1 class from physical science, 1 class from biological science. And what this area says is that from 5A or 5B, you need at least 1 class with a lab component. Okay, and the lab component is you can tell whether it has a lab or not by seeing the underline. For example, astronomy 1 has an underline. That means this class has a lab component. Anthropology 1 does not have an underline, meaning this class does not have a lab component. So if you're taking Anthro 1 from this area, then you have to take something that has an underline from the other area, vice versa. Okay, no need to take an additional class from 5C if you have already fulfilled the lab component from area 5A or 5B. Okay, so total of 2 classes really from this area. Area 6. Area 6 is UC requirement only. So if you're not interested in UC, if you're only interested in Cal State, you don't have to fulfill this area. But if you are transferring to UC, then you have to satisfy this area. This area is called language other than English. A lot of our international students automatically satisfy this area without taking any additional classes, because if you went to school from 6th grade to 12th grade for at least 2 years, and if your school was taught in a language other than English. So for example, if you went to school in China for, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12th grade, then just by submitting your transcript, you don't have to take any additional class from here. UCs just want to know if you can speak any other language other than English. If you come from an English-speaking country like Canada, or UK, then meet with us and see, if you need to take another class. If you took some foreign language class in high school, then you might be able to waive this area. So that's your IGETC. I know it's a lot of information, but you'll receive this recording, so you could review the IGETC areas in the future.
Yeah, for the IGETC, it's one of the most popular GE patterns that we have our students follow. Mm-hmm. And the reason why most of our students follow the IGETC is because it's most comprehensive. It works for UCs. It works for those of you who want to transfer to Cal State universities. It also works for those of you who just want to graduate with an associate degree from PCC. So it's most comprehensive. It even covers some of the private universities. So many students, when you start out, you may not know where you want to transfer yet. Maybe UCs, maybe Cal States, maybe you change your mind later on. So it's best to follow the IGETC list. Even though we have many choices for GE patterns, it's best to start off with this one.
Mm-hmm. Highly recommended. Alrighty, going back to the slides. So instead of me talking now, let's look at a video that shows you how to explore the schedule of classes. So I'm just gonna make sure that my sound is being shared. Okay, ladies, let me know if you can't hear anything, okay? Here, I'm gonna play it. Sorry if it's too loud.
Yes,
To get started, head over to your Lancer Point homepage.
actually louder.
Click on My Classes and Academics on the navigation list, then select Schedule of Classes.
Loudest.
On this page, you'll be able to select which term you want to view classes for. Make sure you're looking at the most current year and term. Classes can be found by selecting various criteria, such as subject, instructor, and meet times. For this demonstration, we're going to look for math classes that meet during the week. Click on the search button to get started. The results on the next page can be a little overwhelming, so we'll break it down for you. The first thing we'll see for each course is the title, followed by the course prerequisites, if any are required. Prerequisites are courses that need to be completed before a student may enroll in this course. A brief course description appears next, concluding with total hours of lecture. It is followed by transfer credit status, which indicates whether UC or Cal State schools will give credit for completing this course. The course grade mode indicates what type of grading system is used for credit courses. In many courses, you will receive a letter grade, but there may be an option for a course audit or a pass, no pass grade. The status box indicates whether the course is open, closed, or waitlisted. Students who enroll in a waitlisted course will receive an add code via email if a space becomes available in that class. The boxes for type and meet indicate what type of instruction this class uses. This may be an online course, an in-person lecture class, a lab, or some other form of instruction with an online component. Click on either type or meet, and a window will pop up with a list of schedule type codes and descriptions. The course reference number, or CRN, is the number you will use to add the course as you create your schedule. Make a note of this number exactly as it appears. Click on CRN to find important deadlines for the class, like the last day to drop without a W or to get reimbursed for financial aid. The unit box indicates how many hours of instruction the course meets for weekly. Those with higher unit numbers will generally be larger course loads that require more hours of study time. The meeting time indicates when instruction is held. Confirm that the days and times match your availability before adding each course. If you miss too many class meetings, your instructor may drop you from the class for non-attendance. Some courses do not have a meeting time listed. Instead, you'll see an estimated weekly workload to help you plan your time accordingly. This is an asynchronous course, which we'll talk more about in a few moments. The location box tells you where the class will meet. You might see a building and room number for classes that meet in person on PCC's main campus or one of PCC's satellite campuses, but most classes at this time are being held online. If the location says online Zoom, this is a course that we refer to as synchronous, which means the instructor will conduct this class at the time listed and students will meet virtually together on Zoom. If the location simply says online, then there is no designated meeting time. We refer to this as asynchronous. If you enroll in an asynchronous course, you'll get more information about accessing lecture recordings and other materials when you get started. Generally, you can still interact with instructors and classmates on Canvas, but this course will not have mandatory meeting times that conflict with other classes. The next three boxes are labeled CAP, ACT, and REM. The first indicates the course capacity, or how many students can enroll in the course. The second shows you how many positions are already filled, and the last one shows you how many seats are remaining. The instructor section shows you who will be teaching this course. The date box indicates what date the course starts and ends, and the weeks box indicates the course duration. Many courses run 16 weeks during the main semester, but there are 8-week courses referred to as first session and second session, and there are other variations as well, so be sure to check this box to confirm the course duration. One last thing, don't forget to check the footnotes for additional information. The footnotes might list restrictions, like courses that are specific to certain programs. Some math or statistics courses may list a support component in the footnotes as well. When enrolling in these courses, make sure you match the CRN of the course with the corresponding CRN of the support component as it appears in the schedule of classes. You are now ready to add courses using the CRNs that you've selected.
Alrighty. Sorry if that wasn't loud enough. It was the loudest that I could do, but sorry if you couldn't hear it very well.
So Jane, I
yeah.
just want to remind everyone, I put that link, that YouTube video in the chat. So if you want to save that, or you can just go to pasadena.edu and type in understanding schedule of classes. You'll find this link as well. So you might want to watch it several times so that you thoroughly understand how the schedule of classes works and to understand how to read the different components within the schedule of classes. That's how you choose your classes. So
Awesome.
copy and paste the link in the chat.
Thanks, Amy. Alrighty. Yeah, videos can be very helpful. Alrighty. So we talked about this Pathways first year experience requirement briefly before, but I want to go more into detail. So if you want to join Pathways first year experience, you must enroll in one of the above classes in your first year. So either this semester or the next semester. Counseling 10 is a 1-unit class called Intro to College. So this class is appropriate for ESL levels 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so if your English level, ESL level is 1, 2, or 3, you could enroll in Counseling 10 and you will meet this requirement. However, if your ESL levels 4, 5, or English 1A, then you are to take the College 1 3-unit class, first year seminar. We recommend you to take it in your first semester, but as long as you complete it in your first year, you will meet the Pathways requirement. Pathways first year experience, again, is optional. It's free of charge. We'll talk about how to sign up for JAM, which is a 3-day orientation that you must attend to join Pathways. But if you join Pathways, you get priority registration. So your registration time is even earlier than other international students. You also get an assigned coach who are like big brothers or sisters on campus. They will check in with you, how you're doing, will help you if there's any questions that you may have. So they're really nice to have around, our coaches. And then if you're actually coming to the US, we actually have a Pathways Center in one of the buildings, the building, where you could go, and I think they have free printing. They have places where you can hang out, use the computers, things like that. And so it's a very useful program to be part of.
Tutoring
For Pathways as well.
computer labs for you to use.
There we go. Awesome. Yeah. And remember, when you transfer to 4-year schools, they're going to ask, what kind of educational programs were you in? And you can actually write about Pathways experience if you want to do so. So it's highly recommended. But again, it's optional. Alrighty. Anything else about Pathways you want to add, Amy or Rosa?
So just to reiterate, Pathways is not something that you are required to join, but it's a benefit for you to join because you have an earlier registration date, earlier by 1 day for international students. So supposedly you have November 19 as your priority registration. If you join Pathways, it gets changed to November 18, so 1 day earlier. The benefits are beyond just priority registration. Like Sujin said, you have a success coach, like a guide or a mentor, or think of this person as like a big brother or sister who have gone through college and are now, they're being paid to help you, to guide you through this process, and that you get support services from the lab, computer center. You can use the computer lab there to do your homework, and you have free tutoring. So it's an additional benefits for new students. So it would be good for you to join so that you can also make new friends with other students, not just international students, but other domestic students.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, highly recommended. All righty. Okay.
We'll talk about how to join Pathway, Yu Hui, in a moment. We'll give you the link.
it's one of the last slides. Sorry. Yeah, we'll give you the link how to join Pathways. Okay, so we recommend you to see us, counselors, for educational plans. We can help you to create a comprehensive plan, meaning a very long plan, well, not too long, but a big plan, long plan. So you'll know exactly what classes to take in what semester in order for you to meet your educational goal. So if you are pretty much set, if you already know what you want in terms of your major, what schools you want to transfer to, what degrees you want to earn, then come meet with us so we can create that educational plan for you. If you're still deciding on your major, you still don't know whether you want to transfer or not, you can still meet with us and consult with us. We'll give you some information that you may want to explore in your own time. And we'll show you how to book an appointment through PCC Connect in a little bit. So this is what our typical class, schedule recommendation would look like. I know you're not starting in the fall, but in your first term, we recommend you to take your first ESL or English class. And the second term, you can take your second ESL or your second English class. If you need more than one math class, you can start on your math already, so you can move up to the next math level until you reach your highest math that you need for your transfer. In your first semester, we also recommend College 1 or Counseling 10, depending on your ESL level, and then also to take your general education or major class. So as you can see, very similar in your second semester. For your summer sessions, we recommend you to not take more than 2 classes because summer is very, very short, only 6 units, and the class is just compacted within those six weeks. So don't take more than 1 or 2 classes in the summer is our recommendation for you to take GE or your major requirement. So that's the typical planning that counselors will create for you. Just remember to not take all GE classes or all major classes in one semester because you don't want to overwhelm yourself too much. You want to mix and match easy classes with difficult classes because your goal is to get the highest GPA that you could get, right, to achieve your educational goal. All
I
right.
know it's very tempting for new students to want to take a lot of units in the first semester. We want to make sure you do well in your classes because whatever you take will affect your transfer choices depending on your grades. So your grades are very important because it gets you the GPA, grade point average, that the universities are looking for. So instead of taking 16 units, 20 units, 5 or 6 courses in the first semester, we recommend just stick with 4 to 5, stay within 12 to 16 units. And the goal is to get the best grades possible because that way you have more choices when you apply to the universities, especially if you want to apply to the top prestigious universities. The higher your GPA is, the more chances you get accepted. If you get C's or D's in your first semester, it already affects your future with your transfer because once you have a C grade, you cannot repeat a course. So try to get the best grades, not sometimes students try to rush it. It's best not to rush. Your grades are more important.
Thank you for that, Amy. All righty. First week survival tips. So you're going to start your classes in January. We really want you to feel prepared, either to come to the US or to take your classes from your home country. Make sure if you are planning on driving to campus with your own vehicle, then make sure you come early. I know a lot of our classes are still being offered online, but starting this spring semester, a lot of students will come back on campus. So come early, 2-3 hours before the class starts to ensure that you will have a parking space available. Sometimes, the it gets full and you won't be able to find any parking on campus, which is horrible. So make sure you come early. And make sure you get your books, your textbooks, before the first day of class. You can purchase the books at our bookstore on campus, you can do that, or you can order them online as well. You can buy them new, used, or you can rent them, meaning you pay maybe like half or 1/3 of the money, and then you use the book for the semester, you return it back to the seller. That means you're just renting it for the semester, right? So that's something that you could do, especially for your GE classes where you don't really have to keep your textbook forever.
Oh, talking about books, some professors actually have what's called zero textbooks. Zero textbook does not mean you don't have to read. It just means you can actually don't have to buy the books. The professor will give you the digital book, link so that you can read the book online without charge. So you don't have to buy the actual book. So you can find that information on the schedule of classes underneath the section number. We'll show you in a minute. You can see the professor would say zero textbooks. So if you don't want to buy the books, you can find professors who teach the course without requiring the actual textbook. It's just going to be a digital book that you access online.
Yeah, I'll show you the example of zero textbook when I show you the PCC directory in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Parking, you do have to buy parking permit. And the way you buy parking permit is by going on Lancer Point to buy your parking permit, or you can go to the B building, the bookstore upstairs to buy your parking permit. Don't just park your car without the parking permit, then you get citation, like a ticket. So make sure you buy parking permit if you're going to drive and park on campus.
Yeah, I think it's all digital now. So yeah, you could purchase it online. And I don't think there's an actual thing, right, that you post on your car. Yeah, it's all recognized. I think it's all digital. Okay, good. Waitlist policy. So when the class becomes full, you might see a class being indicated as waitlist. That means you could sign up for the waitlist for that class. Once you are on the waitlist, an email will be sent to the student on the waiting list if enrolled students drop before the first day of class. So for example, let's say you're the first one on the waiting list, you're not enrolled in the class yet, but you're the first one in line, and let's say someone drops from the class, then immediately you'll get an email saying, hi, the class that you wanted is available for you. You're the first one in the waiting list. Use this code to add the class. You'll have 48 hours to add the class. If you do not respond within 48 hours, the spot will go to the next person on the wait list. So number 2 on the wait list. So make sure if you're waitlisted for a class, check your email, PCC email every day, just in case an email comes to you so you could add the class. Let's say you're on the wait list, but you haven't received any email like that, and the first day of class arrives. Then what happens? The wait list is official list that goes to your professor. So the professors know exactly what rank you are on the wait list. So it's very likely if they are adding more students that they will add students from the wait list, but it's not an automatic process. So you would have to email the professor, ask for you to be added into the class, and you have to mention to them, hi, I'm on your wait list, so please consider adding me to your class. So you can email them maybe 1 or 2 days before the semester starts if you're on the wait list. If you could not go on the wait list, you could still crash the course. This means that you email your professor and you just ask them for an add code so you can add the class that you want, that you weren't able to register for. I'll show you how to look up the professor's email address on our PCC directory. So this is how you ask for an add code. Let me go to our website here.
Before you do that, can you go back? I just want to add a few more things.
Yeah.
You can avoid all of this. You can avoid being on the wait list. You can avoid having to crash a course by just doing your online orientation and assessment, and you have priority registration. You get to register front of the line. You don't have to worry about not getting the classes you need. So international students, you all have priority registration if you just do your online orientation and do the assessment. This is for students who register late and the classes that they need are already full and not available. Then you would have to get on the wait list. Wait list is not guaranteed. So it's a long, painful process if you have to go through this when you have priority registration. So please do online orientation. I say this so many times because I was checking your registration date today, and I noticed so many of you have not done online orientation. And I know that all of you could have gotten the priority registration if you've just done that. So please do online orientation and you don't have to worry about the wait list and crashing a course.
But also just a quick reminder that if you do happen to be on the wait list, it's very, very important, like Sujan said, make sure you check in your PCC email address. The college uses that email as the official communication method. So if you miss the email that says, hey, we have a space in the class, then you may lose the chance to add the class. So check it daily if you added your name to the wait list.
Yeah, that's right. Make a habit of checking your PCC email on a regular basis, because whenever we communicate with you is through the PCC email, no longer to your personal email. So just as a habit, like for me as a counselor, I check my email at least 20 times a day throughout the day, just so that I don't miss something that students sent me. So just make that a habit. Or if you want to, you can link your personal email to the PCC email. Then you can just check your personal email and you can see the PCC email as well. And
Yes.
yeah, whenever you want to search for something, if you don't know how to do something, you could actually go to the pasadena.edu homepage and you could just search, how do I link my emails? How do I register for classes? How do I do something? It will tell you with a YouTube video that shows you how to do something. So use that search engine. It's really helpful.
Good. Yeah, so that's the search engine right there. But let me show you how to look up the professor's emails and also how to check whether the class is offered as zero textbook. So when you look up a particular class, let's say English 1A, you're going to see a lot of these little notations at the bottom for some of these classes. And I know it's really small.
Would you please enlarge?
Yeah, I'll try to enlarge it.
There,
Let's
thank
see.
you.
Yeah. So for this particular CRN, for this section, you can see that it's indicated that this is zero textbook option. So if you don't want to buy your textbook, again, like Amy said, you can use the zero textbook cost, meaning the textbook will be provided to you for free of charge, probably like as a PDF file, something like that, so you can read it online. Some students prefer the paper books, then maybe you want to avoid this class if you don't mind paying for it. If there's no notation, there's nothing special about, I mean, it's a special class, but yeah, there's no special like notation for this class. But just, be mindful of all these notations. We have some English classes that are geared toward non-native speakers, so those can be a good class if you are a non-native English speaker as well. And let's say you want to crash a course and you want to look up someone's email. I'm just going to try Keith Williams. Let's say this is the class that you want. You copy their name. You go to our PCC website, click search, copy their name, paste it, and then click search directory. When you search directory, this is where you can find the email address of the professor or counselors or anyone that you want to be in contact with. And then you email them, tell them which specific CRN number that you want to be added to, and then you ask for an add code. This is how you crash a course. Okay. All righty. Going back to the PowerPoint, no cell phones in classrooms. This includes your online classes as well. Have them on silent. Try not to use it, unless you're using it, for the class. Just try to avoid it. If you absolutely have to use it for dictionary or any other use, please double check with the professor. Don't ever assume, okay? So that's important. If you're taking online classes, a lot of our classes are now being offered online. You will access this class through Canvas. Okay, you can log into Canvas using the login button right here. Okay, Canvas has same login and password as LancerPoint. You log into Canvas. Oftentimes the professors will give you check-in assignment. You have to complete this check-in assignment usually within like the first 1, 2, or 3 days of the class. If you don't complete the assignment, you might get dropped. If you get dropped, you might be out of, or you will be out of status, right? So very important for you to go to your online class on Canvas and do your assignment. The first week, very, very important. If you have any online Zoom classes, then the professors will expect you to attend the scheduled class sessions on a specific day, specific time you meet on Zoom. If there are no online meetings that are notated in the schedule of classes, then any live class meetings are optional. So the schedule of classes is exactly where you will get this information, or you can email the instructor. Some instructors may require that you use a webcam, during live online classes or exams, sometimes microphone. So if you're unsure about, what kind of things that you must have as an online student, double check with your professor. They'll clarify that for you. Again, don't forget to check your PCC email. We're saying this so many times because we're not going to use your personal email. Check the Canvas inbox. Sometimes professors send you messages through Canvas. Check it very often for any important information about your classes. Okay. All right, let's talk about schedule of classes and registration. So these are some classes that we recommend, like I said, in your first semester. After you complete your self-placement on your orientation, you're going to know exactly what English or ESL class to take. So make sure you register for that one. Depending on your major, right? If you're a STEM major or business major to UC, go ahead and take Math 3 or 8 or 5A, depending on your level. Or take Statistics 50 if your major is liberal arts, health sciences, social sciences, or business majors transferring to Cal States. Okay. College 1 or Counseling 10, remember, if you want to join Pathways, these are some good general education classes that are from the IGETC that we recommend you to take in your first term. So you can take a quick picture of this if you want, or you can wait for the recording to arrive in your email, but we highly recommend you to take these classes. Again, if you're not too sure whether these are good classes for you, meet with a counselor and we'll give you some good classes for you to take depending on your major. Okay.
I also just put the link for the orientation and the link for how to join Pathways in the chat. So please copy and paste those links so that you can join Pathways and do the online orientation that we've been reminding you. So the links are there.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy, for that. Okay, so sample class schedule of a student. So this student is taking ESL, College 1, Statistics 50, and a G or a major course. Before the day of your registration, date and time of your registration, make sure you pick out the CRN number that you want to take. Depending on, whether you want it online, on ground, what time you want it, and then have some backup classes as well, just in case it gets full or something doesn't work out. So make sure you write it out, and then make sure you remember if it's online or if it meets online Zoom, right, and on a specific day and time, or if it's on ground. If you see a letter like C, R, W, if you see a letter with 3 numbers, usually that means it's on campus. Okay. Sometimes you're going to see annex or HH, something like that, something different. But usually with letters, it means the class is on ground. Make sure you're not taking too many units. Some classes are 1 unit, some classes are 5 units. Okay, so we want you to take somewhere between 12 and 16. Higher the unit count, the more coursework, more time you'll be spending for that class. So create something like this for yourself and make sure you're ready to enroll in your classes when it's ready for when it's your registration time. Okay, we're gonna watch one more video. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking around. I know I've been talking a lot, but here's another video that we're gonna watch, how to add classes, okay, using your CRN numbers. Caption.
How to add courses using CRNs. Once you've selected the courses you want, you will add them using the course reference numbers, or CRNs. Start from the LancerPoint homepage. Click on My Classes in Academics, then click on Add/Drop Classes. Select the registration term on the next page, then click on Submit. You may be prompted to complete the pre-registration survey for this term if you have not done so already. Click on the link to complete the survey. Once you've completed the survey, click on Submit. On the next page, enter your selected CRNs into the boxes at the bottom of the screen. Be sure to add them exactly as they appear in the schedule of classes. Once you've added all CRNs, click on Submit Changes. If there are no holds or other validation issues, this will add the course to your schedule. Return to the My Classes in Academics page and select View/Print My Class Schedule to confirm you successfully added the courses you want.
One thing I wanted to mention was for you to, after you add all your classes, this is where you go pay online right here. Do you see step number 3, pay online? This is where you pay for your classes, just for your information. Amy, did you want to also post this link to on the chat so students can later watch this video?
I did.
Awesome.
I
Thank you
put
for
the
that.
link in the chat, so please copy and paste so that you can watch it again. Copy and paste all the links that I put in the chat, please, so that you can watch it again.
And also you can check on your LancerPoint account, make sure there is no holds in your account to avoid any delays registering for your classes.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, sometimes you won't know if you have a hold or not until the time of your registration. So you don't want to avoid that. You want to avoid that. So make sure you clear all your holds in advance. Okay, so I get this question a lot. Can I take all of my classes online in spring? So that's a very good question. It really depends on your status. So if you're F1 I-20 status versus online overseas status. So like I said, if this is your first semester under PCC's I-20, if you're a new student, then you must take at least one on-campus or hybrid class, minimum 1 unit, okay? And then rest of your classes can be online, no problem. If you're online overseas student, meaning you don't have, I-20 from PCC, you're just taking classes online, you can take all your classes online, no problem. You don't even have to take 12 units, right? If you are registering for on-campus class, on-campus or hybrid, you must upload your COVID-19 vaccination information first. If you don't have this, you're not going to be able to register for any on-campus or hybrid class for spring. I'm just going to click on this link here. Let's see if I can go there. Or let me just go to here. So when you go to our PCC website right now, it might change in the future, but you're going to see this link right here. You must upload your vaccination information first here at the top. Do you see that? You click on that link and then it'll tell you exactly what you need to do to submit your COVID-19 vaccination. You have 2 choices. You could either submit it online here, which would be probably more convenient for you, or you can submit it in person if you're already here in the US. I don't know if you're already here, but make sure you do this before your registration as early as possible because we have many students submitting this vaccination record, and it's not a guarantee that you will be cleared right away. It might take a couple of days. If you have questions, you can always contact our health updates at pasadena.edu, especially if you have been vaccinated from abroad, if you have vaccination records that's not in English, you can always email them and ask. And I think, Rosa, can they also email ISC for any additional information, or is it better to email the health updates?
It's better if you email health updates. Make sure that if the vaccine record is in language other than English, make sure they're translated into English. And also, what we came across this semester was the students were not submitting a photo ID. So make sure you submit both the vaccine record and a photo ID, copy of your passport or any government ID that you have when you submit it online.
Yeah, I think your passport would be the safest. If it's in your own language, you know, we might not be able to read it. So passport and your vaccination record. You can submit it online here. Okay.
So you would need to do this before you register for an online class. I'm sorry, for an on-ground class, on campus.
On
Online is
campus.
okay, but if you register for anything that's on campus, which you are all required to take at least one on-campus course, so you need to submit this before your registration date.
Yeah, submit it and be cleared. So yeah, do it early in advance is my recommendation. Okay, and if you're not too sure what your status is, like am I F1, I-20, overseas, online, check with your international advisor. Like Rosa said, we have 3 advisors, Rosa, Kathy, and Michael, so you can check with them and they will be more than happy to let you know what your status is. Your next steps. So make sure to complete the new international student checklist. Let's see if this time the link will work. Okay. So under the, I think you probably have already received tons of emails from us reminding you to do all these steps. But remember, if you have not activated your Lancer Point account, you will not be able to access the online orientation. If you don't have online orientation completed, you won't be able to register for your classes early. So just make sure you follow all these steps right here. And then for the new student welcome, if you are going to be here in the US physically, then we're going to have our new student welcome on January 5th. If you are taking classes online only, then I think, Rosa, correct me if I'm wrong, we will be sending you an email to upload some documents on Canvas. But would that be correct? Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. So these are the steps that you must complete. Online orientation, sorry, we're saying it for the 10th time, but we want to remind you to complete the online orientation if you have not done so. And we already talked about the international student welcome information that you will receive. Yuhui, you asked this question earlier. If you want to sign up for Pathways, it's very important for you to attend the JAM, which is the online orientation, or it's an extended orientation different from ours. And then also take 12 units in spring semester. Also to take either College 1 or Counseling 10, right? Depending on your English level. Let me click on this link for JAM and show you how to sign up. So I'll put this in the chat.
It's already in the chat.
Oh, you already put it in the chat.
Talked about all the links, I put it in the chat.
Okay, great. Yeah, so this link is on the chat. So register for JAM, you click on this link, sign up for asynchronous JAM, and then you put your information. Right now, the only available slot is November 22nd to December 5th. What happens is you will have this 2-week window where you go into, JAM, they're going to provide you with information, and then you complete all the assignments. And then you will be completing the JAM. For now, because your registration date comes before November 22nd, signing up for the JAM will sign you up for Pathways. Okay, then you have to complete this this JAM event in November, on November 22nd until December 5th. You just have to complete it by that time. So make sure you go to this website, sign yourself up, then you'll be part of Pathways. Okay. Alrighty. check your registration date and time on Lancer Point. I'm going to show you how to do that. I really hope that my student portal is still alive. Okay, so this is me. So you're going to see something different than mine. But once you log into your Lancer Point, you click on My Classes and Academics. Then you click on, sorry?
Can you make it bigger?
Oh, is it really small right now?
Yeah, it's if you can enlarge it so they could see it clear. Yeah.
Okay. Is
Great.
that good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So My Classes and Academics, you click on that, and then on the right-hand side, you're going to see check registration status and date. You click that, make sure you select spring 2022, you submit it. I'm not an international student, lucky you. So you all get earlier registration date, I get December 1st. But this is where you see the exact date and time when you can start your registration. Make sure you have no holds, right? If you do, you won't be able to add any classes. So this is how you check your registration time and date. Again, if you see something in December, that's too late. That means you haven't done something. Either it's an orientation, either it's assessment, something is off. So if you're seeing December date, talk to a counselor, or you can email International Student Center and they'll be able to assist you with that. Yours should be sometime in November 19th or 18th or 17th, something like that. Okay. Pay for your classes no later than the payment deadline for you, which is January 6th. That's on a Thursday. I think that's what Michael told me, Rosa, correct me if I'm wrong. But if you don't make the payment by this time, your classes will all get dropped. Even if you make partial payment, if you owe money, your classes will get dropped. So make sure you pay no later than January 6th. Buy books at the bookstore. You can buy them online through our PCC bookstore, or again, from those websites that I talked about. Make sure you buy the parking permit, like Amy talked about, at the police services in the B building, or you can buy it on Lancer Point. To get your PCC ID card, the student ID card, you go to the CC building, first floor, and you're going to see a little station where you could get your PCC ID card. I think the first day to get the ID card is maybe the first day of registration. I'm not too sure. What do you say, Amy?
I don't know. They changed.
Yeah.
Students do not need to have ID card yet, as long as you have an ID number.
Yeah. Yeah. So whenever you come to the US, go check the CC building and see if you could get your PCC ID. But if I remember correctly, I think you have to have some classes in your schedule. I think you need to be registered in your classes to get the ID card. Alrighty. We're almost done. I promise we have like 3 more slides. Okay, so how to book an appointment with an international counselor. So that's a person like me, like Amy, and we have other counselors as well. You come to us if you have, again, academic questions. If you have any immigration or travel issues, then you go to your advisors. Okay, not counselors. Counselors can only answer academic questions. Let me play this video. This video was just created now, and I'm so happy. Okay, we're playing it.
How to schedule an appointment with an academic counselor. Do you need to work on your educational
Your own microphone louder, your volume louder. This is the loudest we can
schedule an
get.
appointment with an international
Right, this is the
academic
loudest.
counselor at any time? Here is how to do it. Head to PCC's website at pasadena.edu and click on Login. Click on PCC Connect. Enter your login and password. This is the same credential you will use to log into your Lancer Point account. On the PCC Connect home screen, click on this menu icon. Click on My Success Network. On the International Student Center card, click on Schedule. Select the reason for your appointment and click on Continue. You will see here the availability of our counselors. Select the date you wish to schedule and click Continue. On this drop-down menu, select whether you want your appointment to be held in person, online through Zoom, or via a phone call. You can add more details about the reason for your visit here if you want to. When you are done, click Confirm. Your appointment is scheduled. If you run into any problems, try clearing your browser cache or contacting the help desk through PCC's website. Next, you will receive an email in your PCC email account confirming the appointment and providing you with additional information about the appointment. For in-person appointments, please visit the International Student Center located at the D Building, room 204 on the PCC main campus. For phone appointments, the academic counselor will call the phone number you have on your student account, so make sure it is up to date. For online appointments, the confirmation email will contain a Zoom link. Click on this link at the time of your appointment. The academic counselors, your advisor, and the international student staff are here to help you.
Alrighty, so that's how you book an appointment. Sorry about the volume. Remember, we cannot call you at an international number. So if you are currently not in the US, make sure you meet with us via Zoom. So that's an online appointment. Okay. So that's the website, PCC Connect. You can book an appointment. I also want to let you know that we have registration help available coming up this Thursday from 8 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. These are 15-minute appointments, and they will actually be available for you to book on PCC Connect starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. So even if you go to PCC Connect now, you won't be able to book this appointment just yet. Wait until tomorrow morning, our time, Pacific time, to book 15-minute appointment, and Amy will be there to help you with any questions that you may have.
And also,
put the link in the chat.
and also when you're checking for appointments, you can check daily because the appointments do fill up quickly, but we open them on a daily basis, or they may be cancellations. So if you didn't find an appointment today, you can check tomorrow again. There may be something available.
Thank you, Rosa.
So
Alrighty.
a lot of links, everything that we talked about that has a link, I put it in the chat. So please just go through it, copy and paste everything so that you can go back and refer to those links.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's an option where you can save the entire chat, or you could, copy and paste everything if you want. But I know we had some questions throughout the presentation. Should we go over them one by one?
I think you already got them.
They need an education plan. I just checked your ID. Somebody named C. You already have an education plan. I put an education plan on all of you already. It's a temporary education plan so that get triggered, checked off. So all of you already have an education plan for spring semester. I just put one course in there so that the system will recognize that you already have a net plan. All you need to do on your end is to do the online orientation and assessment.
Okay, good. And I'm not sure if I understand Min's question. Min is saying, I signed up for November 15th session and still not receive any email yet. Are you talking about this session, November 15th session, or are you talking about the JAM, Min? I'm not sure. For the JAM session. Oh, you haven't received any information for the JAM? Rosa,
Have
do you
you
think we
sent
can...
them an email? Usually sending them an email, letting them know that you're interested in signing up, they will respond.
Yeah, try to email Pathways directly. Let me see if I can find the Pathways email to give to you. And then Amy, I think we just had another question from Kenya.
What's the question? I think I missed it.
Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna find this real quick.
So you answer about the ed plan.
Yes, you have an ed plan. See, you already have an ed plan.
And the next question that I see from Kanye is how long does PCC admission wait for international students to arrive in the US? If you're planning to enter the US for the spring semester, January 4th is the deadline because we're asking all international students to attend the in-person orientation January 5th. If for some reason due to visa delays or whatever, you're not able to enter, you can email us at the ISO or email your education advisor. You can still take classes online and we can defer the I-20 to the next available term. But arriving late to the US is not an option. Because if you're taking in-person classes, you don't show up the first day, the instructors will drop you from the class. So then you end up not having full-time enrollment, which may possibly cause problems with your visa status. So January 4th is the date that we're expecting students to arrive in the US.
And Kang has a questions about housing. Do we find housing now or find it when we get there?
That's up to you. I will probably, some students have relatives that live close by in the area close to PCC. They may stay with them for the first few days while they find housing on their own. So it's up to you really. Unfortunately, PCC does not have housing. There are a lot of apartment complex near the campus, so you can start searching online to Google search for apartments and you will see and you can inquire about if it's something that is that interests you. But if you already have a secure visa and you already have plans to arrive to the US or you're already inside the US, then you could start looking for housing already.
Yeah, first semester is usually that awkward semester. You know, you really don't know who to live with and all of that. But once you like start making friends or you know the area better, students tend to like you know get roommates, like you said, Kayang, or you know you find better places to live, things like that. But just be mindful that our apartments here in the U.S. typically the lease is like 1 year lease. So you really want to either look for a place that has a shorter lease or you know, you have to be prepared to live there for a year. Something to look out for. Okay. Any other
If you have
questions?
not signed in already, please sign in. The link is there. The Google Doc is there for you to sign in. Most of you have signed in, so that's very good. I'm looking at 34 students. Some of you did not put your PCC email address, so make sure you go back and put your PCC email address. So 34 students have signed up so far. So I think that's everybody.
Yeah, we might be missing like I think maybe one student or something like that.
Yeah. Those of you who did not put the PCC email, please go back and put your PCC email.
Yeah. Kang is asking, when can I start registering for classes? So remember, I don't know if you came in a little bit late, Kang, but I showed you how to check for your registration time and date. You can check it on your Lancer Point. You'll be able to find it. Everyone will have different registration date and time, so you have to look for yours. And then, oh, okay. Good questions. Yuhi, how about COVID-19 situation now in the US? It's getting better. You know, a lot of the US residents are being vaccinated. Now I'm actually signed up for my booster shot. So it's getting better for sure, but you know, we don't want to let our guards down. And so that's why we're asking for students to make sure that they get vaccinated before they come on campus.
Yeah, we still have students to put on mask when you're on campus.
So masks are required. We're gonna
If you go to markets or restaurants, it's still mask is expected. Unless you're in open public area or like at the parks, you know, you don't have to, but most people still wear masks.
Yes. Okay. Kaung, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I apologize. How do I make my PCC email? So when you when you activate your Lancer Point account, once you're in your Lancer Point, you're going to be able to access your PCC email from your Lancer Point. So if you have not yet activated your Lancer Point, go ahead and do that. Then you'll have access to your PCC email. It's the first page that you see on your Lancer Point when you log in. It's on your upper right-hand side. Okay.
PCC email address is assigned to you. You don't have to create one. You already have one.
Yeah, we already created for you. You'll have access through Lancer Point.
Would you be able to show them, Sujin, just show them where they can find it?
PCC email? Yeah. Let me see. Let me go back to my Lancer Point home. So once you log in, you're going to see your email right here. So you could go to open mail and then you can see your PCC email right there. Okay. All right. Sylvain, I'm in contact with Coach Tucker from football program to play with in fall semester. Do I need to take different classes as student athlete? Maybe I can take a counseling appointment to discuss about that. We don't have any separate classes required for student athlete, especially if you're joining the football program in the fall semester. Your spring semester should probably look similar to other students. So your English or ESL class, you can do math if you want, and then your college one, if you want pathways, and some GE classes. But yeah, definitely you can talk to our counselors. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., you can book the 15-minute appointment to talk with Amy. And she'll be able to help you out with your classes.
Once you join the football program, then your coach might ask you to take 1 or 2 extra courses for athletes for the fall semester. Like Sujin said, the spring semester would be just any GE courses or your major courses that you would take as an athlete or not as an athlete is the same.
Okay, Lynn, can I register classes before getting the educational plan? Because I will get the educational plan next week. Yes, you can register for classes. Educational plan, like Amy said, she had already put in the temporary plan for you. So you'll be able to get your registration time early after you complete your orientation and assessment. So go ahead and get your classes and then meet with a counselor to get your educational plan. That's fine. Alrighty, and Kaung, you're asking where can I get my educational plan? So again, meet with a counselor, and then you can get your plan. Right now, you have a temporary one that's in place, so you can get your prior registration. But the real plan, you meet with a counselor, you book an appointment through PCC Connect. Okay. Kong, what should I do if I cannot open the email of PCC in China? Oh, you might be blocked because it's Google, maybe it's Gmail platform. I'm not too sure. I know our Chinese students, they usually do like VPN so they can open Google, Gmail, things like that. Do you have any experience with that, Rosa or Amy?
What about if they link it to their personal email? You're still not able to open it?
I don't know if you could do that without getting into the PCC email first, though. I don't know how that works. Do you want to
a lot of international students from China who are able to open their email?
Yeah.
How do they do that?
You could try to contact our help desk and see. Oh yeah, Yuhui, you're probably in China. I'm guessing you can open your email because you use VPN. So, Kang, I think you need to do some research. I don't know if Yuhui is willing to help you with that, but yeah, you need to get some sort of VPN so you can open like Google and Gmail from China. I think that's what a lot of our Chinese students do. They use the VPN. Okay, I'm sorry, Kang. Okay, Kenya, so is deferring to, oh, this is your question, Rosa, I think. Is deferring to next semester session or fall semester the only solution for the late arrival if I'm an F1 visa student?
That's correct. If you're not able to enter by January 4th, we will make sure you let us know, email your advisor and I think your advisor is Michael, let him know, or email iso@pasadena.edu. Let us know that you were not able to enter the US. We will have to defer the I-20 and you need to request the new I-20 with the new dates. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to use that current I-20 that you have because it has spring dates. So we have to create the updated I-20 with the new dates. Does that answer your question or do you need more clarification on that?
Yeah, Kene, I think it's better for you to talk with the advisor directly because you have a unique situation, it sounds like. Okay. Kang is saying that for Myanmar students, you will create a Facebook group. Okay, awesome. Yeah, that sounds great. May, you're asking, what should I do if I am not vaccinated? And if you're trying to come to the US to take an on-ground class, then I don't know, you won't be able to take anything. What do you say, Rosa?
That's correct. And also, please, all of you, make sure you read our frequently asked questions regarding COVID virus updates page, because also if you're planning to enter the US, before you're able to fly to the US, you need to be fully vaccinated. And we updated our frequently asked questions and we have some useful links that mention this. This is a new government regulation. So anybody traveling to the US needs to be fully vaccinated with a few exceptions. So please read our webpage because we just updated the questions last week based on the new information that we received. So if you're planning to enter the US, you need to be fully vaccinated unless you're from one of the countries that are exempt. But if you're entering the US, in order to maintain F1 status, you need to take the in-person class, which PCC requires vaccines. So
Rosa,
feel free to email us individually so we can address your specific situation if you plan to enter the US and are not vaccinated yet.
do you think you can post the frequently asked questions link possibly?
Yeah, I'm gonna check for it.
Thank you very much.
So Jane, if we could go back to that slide that says what classes to take for spring, so the students can take a screenshot. Some of you asked what classes should you take. If we can go back to that slide and show you, these are the classes we recommend for you to take in the spring semester. So take a look, take a screenshot. These are the classes we recommend you to take in the spring semester.
And AU, if you want to meet with somebody, remember Amy's available this Thursday, so you can book the 15-minute appointment to meet with Amy or 45-minute appointments to meet with other counselors if you want, but counseling is available. But for now, make sure you get these classes on your registration time is what I recommend.
You all have access to check the schedule classes already to start planning. 'cause you can look what math and English classes are offered, or some of the general ed courses that the counselors are recommending, so that you can start planning. And if you plan to enter the US, plan for the 12 units. If you're staying overseas, like Sujin and Amy said, it's up to you how many units you want to take. Take into account the time differences and the internet access.
Yeah, someone asked, let's see, Yifan said, your registration date is still December 8th. That's because I just put the temporary education plan today. So check your registration date again tomorrow. It should change to November 19th. Once I enter your education plan and that you finish your online orientation and assessment, those 3 things, the change takes place the following day. So I just enter your education plan today. You'll see the change tomorrow. It should stay November 19 if you've done all 3 things. Education plan is done by me, and you have done online orientation and assessment. So November 19, you should see that tomorrow.
Now just put on the chat the link for the coronavirus update page. Again, these are questions that we just updated, the entire international office. So that mentions regarding vaccines and travel to the US.
Thank you, Rosa. And Kong, it sounds like you're still having some issues with your PCC email. If you want, you can email our help desk and see if they could help you out with that. You could just search help desk on our PCC website and you'll be able to find how to contact them. Hopefully they can help you to access your PCC email, but it looks like it's the VPN issue. I'm sorry.
And
Okay.
Havon has a question. How do I declare a major? So when you applied to PCC, you have put in your major. If you want to change your major, a counselor can do that for you when you meet with us. So the students cannot change the major yourself, but the counselor can help you change it. So it's not that important what the major is at this point. And what's important is that you're taking the right classes towards the new major, whatever the new major is. And then when you meet with us, we can help you change your major.
Alrighty. Lynn, you asked, should I register for classes even if I'm not sure whether I can make it in time for spring classes? I'm guessing you're asking whether you should have the on-ground class or not. For now, you can register for your classes, assuming that you will be here here in the US. You have until January, right, to make your payment. So hopefully by that time you will be able to figure out exactly what you want to do, so you could, change your schedule. But I think it's a good idea to have something in place with your best guess of what's going to happen. So you don't lose your spot, right, for these classes. That's what I recommend, Lynn. It's okay to just hold on to them until you make that payment in January.
Yes, and if you for some reason cannot make it, make sure you go online and drop your classes. Otherwise, you will be responsible for paying for those classes, even if you're not end up attending. So January 6th is the last day to pay. Go ahead and register first. And if you cannot make it by then and you have to delay attending classes at PCC, just make sure you drop the classes. Otherwise, you will have to pay it. It's a lot of money. It's like $5,000 for one semester.
And make sure you contact our office, International Student Center, your advisor, because we may have to change it in the system to allow you to drop the classes. International students have a restriction that you cannot drop without approval. So if you're already at the 12 unit mark and you try to drop, you're going to receive the error that you cannot drop. But if you email us and let us know, hey, unfortunately, I couldn't enter the US and I need to drop my classes, we will change it on the system to allow you to drop the class. So just make sure you let us know ahead of time, like the counselors are saying, so that you don't get the balance, responsible for the balance, or you forget to drop, and then it looks like you register for those classes and you never intended to attend.
Thank you.
So someone asked about the recording. Yes, you can receive the Zoom recording for today. So we have your email address. If you've input your email from the sign-in sheet, we have your email so that Rosa can send out the recording to all of you.
It will probably be by the end of this week. We usually wait until it gets uploaded to us, and then we'll send it to everybody. Mhm.
Meantime, just copy and paste all the links that we have in the chat if you want to access those links immediately.
All right. Kaung is asking, do I need a notarial translation for my ID card? So I think your ID card can be your passport. Then you don't really need a translation. If you have an ID card from your home country, if it's in English, you can try. If it's in your own native language, I really recommend that you use your passport page for your ID card. Okay.
We can stop recording, Rosa.